Mayor Bloomberg is in a Weibo post again. This time, the post is about his latest legislation to force shops to cover cigarettes with a curtain or keep tobacco out of view in retail stores. Mayor Bloomberg is an ex-smoker. He quit smoking 30 years ago and has crusaded against smoking as a public official. During his first term in office, he banned smoking in bars and restaurants, and in 2008, he pledged $375 million, along with Bill Gates, to combat the global tobacco epidemic. Under Bloomberg's new proposal, stores would still be allowed to advertise and display pricing information, but the actual tobacco products would only be visible during a sale or restocking. A trade group that represents grocery and convenience stores is criticizing the plan as being too costly on retailers. However, a number of people and organizations, such as the American Cancer Society, are praising the plan. But what about Chinese Weibo users? Now, although New York is literally on the other side of the planet, there are a lot of people who believe that perhaps what Americans do could have an impact on China, since American policies could become an international norm. Let's take a look at some Weibo comments.
Mayor Bloomberg used to be a smoker. I wish we had more officials like him. I don't mind the government meddling in business as long as it's good business. I hope China can also push for increased measures to control tobacco. I support him. It's important to have good health as everything else is dependent on it. This is something the Chinese government should learn from. A healthy population can reduce healthcare spending. We should increase fines and penalties for those who smoke in prohibited areas. Tobacco is harmful to everyone. We should just get rid of it.
Now, a lot of people online are rather skeptical that China would implement similar measures to curtail the sale of tobacco in China, because unlike in the U.S., where cigarette production is controlled by big tobacco companies, in China, the big tobacco companies are owned by the government and contribute between 7 to 10% of the government's revenue. Now, China is the world's largest consumer and producer of tobacco, with some 350 million smokers. China also produces about 42% of all the world's cigarettes, and the China National Tobacco Corporation is, by sales, the largest single manufacturer of tobacco products in the world. However, the country is taking steps with tobacco control legislation. It's just that it's very slow. According to Yang Gonghuan, the deputy director of the National Center of Disease Control of China, the reason why tobacco control is moving slowly in China is because the government derives large tax revenues from tobacco sales, and that the industry employs a large workforce. But smoking bans have been issued by the Ministry of Health since 2009 and has been held by projects sponsored by the Bloomberg Initiative. As you can see, Mr. Bloomberg's crusade has rather far-reaching effects. However, one of the biggest challenges is the country's lack of enforcement. Now, outside of the biggest cities like Shanghai and Beijing, smoking is still considered acceptable virtually anywhere, even in office buildings, even in elevators with no smoking signs. In 2011, China's State Administration of Radio, Film and Television also announced the ban of inappropriate smoking scenes in movies and TV shows, and said that smoking scenes are out of line with the country's stance on tobacco control. And now let's take a look at what Weibo users have to say about China's smoking problems.
Mayor Bloomberg is too controlling. Just a while ago, he wanted to ban large-sized soft drinks, and now he's going after smokers. I thought in America, power was enclosed in a cage. The problem with China is that the government is dependent on cigarettes as a major source of income. I know the best solution. Just close the factories. It's funny there are so many different proposed plans that people come up with to tackle smoking problems, while nobody really does anything about the source of the problem.
Smoking is very much a part of Chinese culture. Nearly 60% of male Chinese doctors are smokers themselves, and the former health minister Gao Qiang was known to smoke at meetings. Sometimes you'll even find people that smoke in restaurants, and it's not all uncommon to find people light up right after dinner or even between dishes. Things are getting better in China's larger cities, and it seems that the percentage of smokers among the younger generation is a bit less than those of the older generation, at least in the first-tier cities. So maybe whatever the government's doing, it's working.